Previous jobs, okay, so I worked in like a pool place selling pool products when I was a teenager.
Oh, I used to work a lot of places. I used to lay tile, paint houses. I did security for a golf club.
I started as a sign maker before I started tattooing, so it was a pretty good job to go from that job in the tattoo scene because it was creative as well.
When I was 19, I started making kitchen countertops, and I ended up being there for 15 straight years in the same place.
A house painter, I was a car painter, I was an illustrator. So I pretty much have painted anything that will hold paint, you know, houses, cars, bodies, canvases. I feel like it all was preparing me for the bigger picture later in life.
My first job was a dishwasher at Numero Uno Pizzeria. My second was a busboy at the Elks Club. Man, that was a shit show.
I dropped off newspapers. I did roofing. I was a chef for 5 years before I got into tattooing.
I haven't really had a previous job before tattooing. I came straight from school right into tattooing, and even at school I was getting tattoos and trying to get into tattooing then, so I guess I was doing it from a young age and I just knew I wanted to do it.
So I've never actually had a job interview. I'm one of those people where, like when I was younger, I'd jump around a lot. My main background is machining and welding. That was the family business. I was doing that since I was about 12 years old. I actually thought I'd be running the family shop, but working with family and things like that is extremely difficult. So I ended up getting away from that, and I only started tattooing full-time about 4 or 5 years ago.
The only real job I had before this was I worked at a paintball field from 13 to 19, and I served at a couple restaurants real quick, but I started tattooing pretty young, and I've been tattooing for 15 years now, so this is all I know, pretty much.
For probably about 3 years, I professional wrestled and made a living at it. Traveled basically all over the country doing it, mostly in the South and the Northeast, but it was kind of fun, a lot of good times. Got to meet a lot of cool and interesting people.
I have packed stuff in a warehouse, like going about picking stuff for orders. I have driven delivery trucks. I worked in a bar for years. I was assistant manager in a bar. I worked in clothing stores. I sold clothes to teenagers, mostly all in Edinburgh. So I started off selling clothes to teenagers, and then I moved on to a bar, and I ended up selling alcohol to what were teenagers who were now old enough to drink. And
I've had so many previous jobs before I tattooed. I've worked at Burger King, I've worked at pizza places, I've worked at the mall like 5 times. Most recently, before becoming full-fledged tattooer, I was a security guard at a children's hospital, and that kind of sucked.
I worked at a pizza place, Rusty's, for a little while with my lady when we were younger. But most of my work has been like concrete work, and then I worked as an ACI field technician at a concrete company when I was 18 years old, but I was still tattooing on the side, and until it came to a point to where I was like, I want to pursue my passion. I'm tired of breaking my back. You know, I've been working labor since I was a kid just to support my kid.
I've got a technical degree, technical engineering degree. I could say explain that perfect in German, but I don't really know how to do it in English. Yeah, but I wasn't unemployed. I had a really good job before that. But tattooing is passion for me. I started this right out of passion, and yeah, it's the best thing. That's why I dumped my old job and life, because I don't really have a job right now. I don't feel I'm working. That's the thing.
When I was growing up, my grandfather had a potato packaging facility, and every summer he would pull up in the driveway, smoke about 6 cigarettes down the block with no windows down, get in the car at like 7-something in the morning, and we would drive to the potato factory. At which point, I'd be hauling 50-pound bags of potatoes for 8 hours all summer, no AC in this big metal building. And it was miserable, yet it was extremely enjoyable. And he did pay me a little bit, so it was kind of cool. So I'm in like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, showing up for school in fall with like a little bit of money because I busted my ass all summer. And it definitely taught me the lesson of work. Like it taught me the value of $1 and it taught me how to work hard. So that was probably like the most influential job I've had. It's a child almost, you know? I wonder what the laws were on that.
All through the 80s, we played in bands and we, had awesome gigs and stuff, warmed up some cool national acts and stuff. So it was fun, but we still didn't make any money, you know.
Union carpenter, local 2361 out of Orange County and 1506 out of LA. I did that for 10 years, hanging drywall. That was a job. I was a roughneck on the oil fields. I've dug ditches. I worked. I worked.
I always took the things from the previous jobs, you know, in the restaurant business, a security guard, like fucking at shows, at venues. I also was an usher at a movie theater, dishwashers. I mean, it was everything. Definitely gave me appreciation for what the job I have now.
So that's what I did before I started tattooing, was lots of labor, back-breaking labor.
So I was able to go to university, but I decided to learn carpenter as a profession. And I was working in this job for 1 year. And then everything changed. My father, he got sick, so we went back to my hometown and tried to help my mom. And yeah, that was a good job, was a cool job. I still love to work with wood, but you know, I have 4 kids and nowadays it's hard. You have IKEA and all that stuff, so as a carpenter, it's not possible to feed a family with 4 kids. It's simply not possible. So I'm blessed with the job I have, you know, right now.
I'll never look back. I remember my friend Kim was the one who was like, quit your job, like, what are you doing? Like, the guaranteed check though. And she's like, no, you guarantee your own check, you work hard and you make it work. And then, shoot, 13 years I've been in the shop and never looked back.
16 years into my tattoo career, I'm like, finally, man, I've been tattooing longer than I was making kitchen countertops, you know? It's a trip.
Workshops for teachers.
I almost became a dentist at one point. I took my dental aptitude test. I've always, like way back, I wanted to be a physician, I wanted to be a doctor. I did the whole school thing.
Those were my jobs. So it really gives me the appreciation of what I get to do today, you know, which is laugh and joke with my friends and have a good time.
I picked fruit in Australia, I picked watermelons, the shittest fruit to pick in the world. Yeah, I nearly got bitten by a snake. Those things are heavy as well. So it was, yeah, it was interesting, but I'd done a lot of stuff before I tattooed.